One of the things that I really like about the Gospel of Thomas is that it's not particularly uniform. It's a collection of sayings that, in some cases there may be one or two that are coupled together as little couplets, but generally it's just a collection of sayings of Yeshua that reflect on the things that he said to the people around him. And I like that a lot because it's not a narrative. There's no propositional thinking here, there's no linear progression. It's just things that Yeshua said. And that's something that I really like because there's a freedom in that to interpret things then as they become part of your experience and my experience. And that's the most precious thing. One of the issues that I have today, and I kind of worked through, but it's an important issue to remember, is the issue of uniformity, the uniformity of text, and the effort to keep your thinking and my thinking in alignment with what is said to be so, what is thought to be true. One of the things about the coming together of the texts under Constantine, there was then a uniformity, and you can see it in the earlier texts of Deuteronomy and the tales of the temple that was being built after Josiah took down the first temple. And so what happens is that this amazing event where King Josiah goes to the temple and basically plunders it and somehow finds in that ruin, in a crevice, in a little niche, the law. The book of the law is found in the temple, under a stone, in a little pocket. And there we have it. And all of the things of the first temple that were there were reoriented. They were made a uniform entity to suit the needs of the king Josiah and his priests and his scholars. And that uniformity is something that's happening to us today. It is that we are being compelled to all be the same, to be one nation, one globe, one people, one language, one group of consumers pushing against another group of consumers in order to create a uniform marketplace. And that uniformity is something that I find so troubling because it eliminates the opportunity for me to have an expanded experience. In other words, the experiences that I have are unique to me. They are not uniform with regards to the world around me. And that uniqueness is divine. It is my connection to the divine hierarchy. So when you see people developing systematic theologies and they are trying to make everything work together, you have to be very skeptical of that because that's not really how things have been constructed. The world is, as I understand it, uniquely developing in ways that are unpredictable. That unpredictability is something that is an opportunity for the divine to then make itself known. If everything is predictable and rational and systematic, where is the new stuff coming from? Because the new stuff is not part of that hermetically sealed, uniform understanding of how the world works. Do you really think that the cosmos is uniform in its expansion? My gosh, it's just a world of suns being crushed and planets pulverized, space being contorted, time warped. That is not a uniform world. And so our ability to be oriented to the lack of uniformity is very important, to be tuned into the fact that things are going to be different tomorrow than they were yesterday. And when it is seen that the uniformitarians are having their way, the divine is going to say, uh-oh, don't think so. And that's certainly the case in Genesis with the builders of the tower. Because what was said was by the angels, look what they have begun to do. They are all of one language, and everything that they purpose will come true. So it's not an exact quote. I should be better at that, but go in there and check it out in Genesis and see what you see about that. See that the divine does not really want a uniformitarian reality. It's not looking for that. It's not looking for the safety and security of the predictable reality that we want to create for ourselves. So embrace in yourselves, as I have, as much as I can, a new revelation that occurs all the time. It's consistent with the moral understandings in the divine hierarchy. It's consistent with beauty, but it is not uniform. Things change shape all the time. They change and they expand and contract. They go here, they go there, and that is how it is supposed to be. So the idea that you have a nation that's going to, always be the same and will be unchanging and stable and steady, it's preposterous. Because the very nature of the world and the very nature of reality is a nature that is a nature of constant change. But there are some things which are very consistent. And one of them is that we have agreed to be manifest here. And in our manifest nature, there is a requirement. We get to choose to be here. As I have theorized, I think it is that the invisible beings who populate the heavens make a decision to incarnate, to manifest themselves for the joy of the experience of being alive. It is a lived experience. But there is something which must occur, and that is a requirement by the prince of this world. That is, you must shed your blood. It's a strange and not often talked about reality, but the prince of this world says, yeah, you can come here, but you will give me your blood. And how you do that, how elegantly you're able to accept that transaction is really important. Because if you try to fend it off, if you try and circumvent it, that's a sure way to not join the divine hierarchy in a victorious way, but is to sink in your personality, to sink and be subsumed in your own personality. And so I'm urging all of us and myself, as I always do, to rise in the divine hierarchy, to understand the change and the shift and the energies that are unleashed in the context of creation, and join those energies and become part of a changing and evolving world that's beautiful. It is divine. It is filled with beauty. And we can enjoy that, and we can be part of that. And more importantly, we can be beautiful as well.